Thanks for joining me for delving deeper into lesson 15 in our study of First Peter. Now, there were all kinds of slaves in the Roman world. There were hard labor slaves working the mines and the fields. There were slaves who were craftsmen and teachers and doctors. And there were slaves who managed the estate and the financial matters of the master. Now, when a slave did a good job, the master benefited, the master received the glory. If we make it a formula for becoming a believer into acknowledge, believe, commit, and then ask, that commit part, that bending the knee to the lordship of Jesus, means that you are voluntarily enslaving yourself to him. You surrender your way for his way. In a sense, you're losing your life. You're giving up your right to do life as you see fit, that you can live a devout and holy life, an exemplary life, a life to the full, what Jesus called an abundant life. Imagine this: you're in the slave line of sinners, and Jesus is the buyer, and you raise your hand pleading, "Oh, pick me, and Jesus accepts you. And thus, the scripture says you were bought with a price. Now, the master has absolute authority to assign a designated area of service to his slave. And part of that service assigned to the congregation that Peter is writing to is to suffer for the kingdom, to return love for unjust suffering. Now, that's not easy, especially when, like the slave in the letter to Philemon, Onesimus, you have the opportunity to run. And even though you're enslaved to Christ, God doesn't take away your free will. You can say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I mean, Adam did. But disobedience always has consequences. When you obey, even at the cost of a personal sacrifice, you reveal God's glory, and that testimony has a powerful influence on others. You are used by God to enrich his kingdom. And my friends, that's a blessing. And that